Okay, so I'm playing Super Mario Bros. 64 tonight. So this one came out back in 2019 by a really talented coder named ZeroPaige. I downloaded this originally in 2019. I've not really played it since. So since last night I did the Sonic the Hedgehog Master System port, I thought let's do the same 8-bit era, only on Nintendo. So yeah, this is the 1985 Nintendo Nes Classic, or Famicom if you're in America watching this. And as we can see, if you're familiar with the game, the original game, you can see how close this port is to the real thing, and it's pretty amazing. You know, there's no denying the music itself is extremely close to the original. In fact, it doesn't even sound like the Commodore SIG chip producing this. So far, my impressions on this is there's a very slight bit of lag. Just there, for example. So there is a little bit of slowdown. But, as I always say, when you're pushing a C64 to its limits, you're going to expect occasionally a little bit of lag, and things aren't going to be consistent as what they might be on different hardware. So what I'm interested in seeing is the second stage on this, and that famous part where we run across near the end of stage 2 and go into the different warp zones, where we can choose a different warp zone to go into, different worlds. So I'm interested in seeing if that's been implemented into this port. I mean, listen to this. Just, it sounds... agree with me in the comments, people, what you think of this so far. So, it's been years and years since I played the Nintendo original of this, and I used to play this a lot as a kid, as well as Mario Bros. 2 and 3. Of course, number 3 on the NES being a massive game at the time, in terms of how big the game was world-wise. So, yeah, I like to obviously promote new games for C64, and I'm obviously touching some people in that respect. I've got a subscriber on my channel who commented on my Sonic the Hedgehog video yesterday who wasn't aware that Sonic was actually on C64. So, that's my point. I'm trying to get these games out there a little bit more. So yeah, like I say, this is just running through a C64. This is running through C64 Forever. I'm pretty sure with a little bit of fine-tuning, and perhaps running this through a Commodore 128, might possibly get a better performance and get rid of that lag. So let's go to Warp Zone 4. So yeah, like I said, I'm glad that option for Warp Zones, where I just went, is actually here. So let's see, to run on this, so up on my D-pad, diagonal left and diagonal right is giving me that jumping ability, and to shoot now I'm just pressing action button, and by the looks of it, if I keep my finger down on action button, just like the original NES version, it's letting me run. So it's just a standard .d64 file I'm using, and according to the instructions how to load this, it doesn't ask you anywhere, it doesn't tell you to use a RAM expansion card, such as a Sonic the Hedgehog conversion. So we actually went to see the new Super Mario film the other day. That kind of prompted me a little bit just to do this video, just to play this game once and for all. Like I said, originally I got this when it came out downloaded this when it came out, like I do with a lot of modern 64 games. So instead of using a different warp zone on this next stage, I'm going to actually just go through the stages and actually end up at Bowser's Castle on level 4. Whoa. So with games like this one, and the Sonic game, and such an achievement, something like Sam's Journey, and several other games in the last few years which has come out on the C64, it just shows what a great system the Commodore 64 really was. A 1982 computer, you know, which obviously predates the Nintendo Nes by a few years. So yeah, if you're going to play this game, if you can grab yourself a copy of this, whoa, I suggest, to prevent this lag from happening, if you're running C64 Forever or Vice, try and launch this one using Commodore 128, or I'd recommend trying an expansion, a RAM expansion, just to give the 64, or rather the game, just that little bit of extra boost in performance. So yeah, I'm sure if I carried on running up the top of the screen, I could go into the different warp zones, but I'm not going to. I'm going to just play this naturally from now. So yeah, the Super Mario Brothers film itself, you know, the original Bob Hoskins version, the early 90s version, it's got a lot of bad publicity, but I've always said that in its defense, that film was actually made around the time of Super Mario World's game. So the world had barely been introduced to Yoshi, or the lore of Mario hadn't really got very far at that point of the film coming out. Yeah, that film constantly gets slagged off, and I'm like, no, it's quite clever for its time. Yeah, there was problems with the scripts being rewritten over and over again, but just appreciate the film like I do for the time it was made. And I think that's what a lot of people tend to forget about that Bob Hoskins Mario film, which was a massive thing at the time. As a kid, I was like, oh, I see this. God damn. Oh, that's it then. I never did make it to Bowser's Castle. So this time, instead of going into the warp zones, I'm going to just play this through until I get to Bowser's Castle, just to see what it looks and sounds like. And of course, we're going to have Toad saying at the end, I'm sorry, but our princess is in another castle. Which was a nice little touch in the new film, actually, which I picked up on. Oh, you know what? A 10-year-old would be laughing at myself playing this. Like I said, I've not touched this game for a long, long time. It's one of those things that probably overdone it as a kid, and you just got sick to death of it. But I'm just playing this just for to show how good the C64 is. I'm not too biased with that, by the way. I don't like Commodore really. So yeah, if you've not seen the new Super Mario Brothers film, personally it's obviously going to be aimed at kids, but I found it a little bit too childish. So the thing I did appreciate with the new film is that a lot of the music are from the old Nintendo Nes games, and I think a younger generation of kids watching it wouldn't know that music. For example, in Super Mario Bros. 3, the boss stages in it with that flying ship, the music for that was actually in that film. So yeah, I find in places this lag this version has got, it's a little bit annoying actually. So yeah, I urge you to play this, and did what I suggested just by trying to give it a bit of a boost. Oh, right, I'm gonna give this one last time. But if you can notice on the screen, things do lag, and it's making it a little bit hard to get the precision for the jumps. Right, let's just try and fly through this as quickly as possible. So yeah, if you're new to my channel, or if you're already a subscriber, good evening. But if you're new to the channel, check out my other Commodore content. I cover modern 64 games, classic 64 games, bad C64 games, and emulation guides. Mainly on Commodore, that's what I do nowadays, that's my love. But you'll find different emulation guides for, say, Amiga. I even did a pinball emulation guides they use in RetroBat, which was pretty damn good. I enjoyed doing that one. So I just thought about this. Like I said, running this through C64 Forever, which is great, and actually I've got a little setup guide on that on my playlist. But on Vice, if you're going to play this through Vice, you've got a little option to speed up the CPU. I'm pretty sure at default it's set to 100. You might want to try and maybe move that up a tad if you can, just to make things a bit more speedier if you're going to play this game. So personally, my thoughts on this game, I think Sonic the Hedgehog Master System port was a lot more fluid, a lot better, but given in mind that game actually requires the expansion RAM to be added to sort of power it. So in terms of gameplay and visuals, and even the music, I think this is a really good port, like really good port. Just a shame about that slowdown. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, most nights I'll try and upload a C64 gameplay video. I know a lot of people like the classics, and I've seen on my community posts that people actually prefer classic gameplay. But I also enjoy getting these new games out there, modern as in post-1994 games. Okay, so we've got a lot of flickering going on these flames just here. Obviously, the original NES version, they're not flickering. Oh, some slowdown going on there. Oh, here comes Bowser. Or was it King Koopa back in those days? I think it was Koopa, wasn't it? So this is really easy. Just run underneath him. Ah, my god! I was saying it was easy. Oh, that music's struggling on this stage. Right, you swine. Yeah! Oh! Oh, I don't believe it. So anyway, that's Super Mario Brothers on C64. And that came out in 2019 by ZeroPaige. So look up the game, and like I said throughout the video, check those settings if you're going to emulate this one. Or of course, if you find the D64 file, you can even transfer that file onto a real floppy disk. It can be done, and you can use it on a real C64. If you're a nerd like me, that is. So until next time, stay retro.